Welcome back, Sethbling here. With yesterday's week 26 snapshot, Mojang added a bunch of options for map makers using mob spawners. And I want to get to that, but first I want to show some of the cool uses. So there's some signs here. These water holes are here specifically to catch the TNT that is about to fall on you. Look up. So this is a wireless proximity trap. There's some proximity detector underground, and it silently sent a signal up there to the sky, and the signal was in the form of a cow. And so the mob spawner was actually able to teleport a cow way up here. This is something that we couldn't do before, and is very cool. So this is probably my favorite use. Here's another cool one. Instead of having mobs spawn in a normal area like this on the ground, you can have them fly out of the water when they spawn. And so like these skeletons, they'll fly out of the water. It's pretty cool. And they'll shoot you. I'm in creative mode, otherwise they would shoot me as they were flying out of the water. So a little bit extra challenge there. And you'll notice there's some particles coming off of them. These guys actually have fire resistance. So if I turn the time to day, they'll start burning, but they're not. You notice they're not turning red at all. Well, they also went to the water, but they're not actually taking any damage when the fire burns them. So that's pretty cool. You can also add any potion effects you want to mobs. And there's some pretty cool potion effects that don't actually appear on any potions currently, like this jumping boost. So you can actually have leaping spiders, which I think is pretty awesome. I love the idea of leaping spiders, and there's some other cool stuff you can do with other potion effects that aren't in the game. There's stuff like water breathing and all kinds of stuff. As a map maker, you can get as sadistic as you want. For instance, here is a mob spawner for invincible lightning creepers. No matter how much damage they take, actually they don't take any damage. No matter how much you shoot them, they're not going to die. So pretty difficult enemy. So the way that you do all these things, the way that you can create all these mob spawners using some MCEdit filters that I've created, and you can download them all from the video description, and I'll go over how to use them in the video, and I'll go over how I did each of these specific things that I showed at the beginning of the video. So let me jump in and show you. The change that Mojang made to mob spawners is to allow you to add custom data to the mob spawner to overwrite parts of the mob after the mob has spawned. So for instance, if I want to create a pig spawner with a saddle, so it'll spawn pigs with saddles, then I can add a saddle tag to the mob spawner, and whenever a pig spawns from that spawner, it'll get a saddle added to it. So the first step in running my filters is to actually go ahead and create the mob that you want in the spawner. So I'm going to create this pig with a saddle, and then I'll hop over to MCEdit. In MCEdit, we can see a red box that represents the pig with the saddle. And so I can just create a selection box around it, go over to my filters, and I will select the Create Spawners filter. This is just going to change any mobs that are in this box into a mob spawner. There's this Include Position Data box. Normally you don't want that checked, but I will go over why you'd want that checked later, and that's actually what enables us to create the wireless proximity detectors and some other cool effects. So I'll just hit Filter here, and that will turn that pig into a mob spawner. And so I'll save the world and go back to my actual world, and now we can see a mob spawner here. Now this mob spawner isn't going to work without any grass, because pigs do need grass to spawn on, but we can see it does spawn pig with a saddle. It can ride it and everything. So that's just the most basic example, but the more advanced stuff that I did, I'll show you how to do that too. Take for example the invincible lightning creeper. All you have to do in game is spawn a creeper, and the rest is going to be done in MCEdit with the filters. Alright, so again we have a red box representing the creeper. I'll select a box that encloses the creeper within it. Go to filters. Now there's two things I want to do. I want to make it invincible, so I will add a potion effect to the mob. So there's a list of all the potion effects here. I'm going to use resistance 4, because resistance 4 makes the mob invincible. There's some other stuff here, like invisibility doesn't actually have any effect. Some of these other ones don't have any effects because, like, speed doesn't have any effects on mobs because their AI doesn't know to take advantage of the extra speed that they have. But some stuff like regeneration or water breathing does have effect on mobs. So I will go ahead and select resistance, and then I'll increase the level to 4, and the duration I'm going to make it something big like 3 million or something. Yeah, there we go. I'll hit filter, and that will apply it to the mob. It's not going to display anything differently, but that potion effect has been added to any mobs that are within this box. And then I will go to change mob properties. And here you get a whole list of a bunch of different properties of the mob. And anything that you change from -1337 or NA, anything you change is going to be applied to the mob, and that's something that the mob spawner will, after it spawns the mob, it'll apply this data. Same with the potions. So, say for instance that I want it to be a lightning creeper. I can just go down to this lightning creeper section here, select lightning, and then hit filter, and that does it. It now is a lightning creeper. So what I have here is a mob. It's a lightning creeper with a resistance 4 potion effect, and it's got that lightning on it. So now I just go over back to the create spawners thing. Again, I don't check the include position data. I just hit filter, and there we go. There's the spawner. And again, here we have the lightning creeper with that resistance 4 potion effect, invincible. Alright, so what about those awesome skeletons that flew out of the water? That's let me show you how to do that now. So you'll take one of these mobs here, and again, we're in MCEdit. We're going to select the mob. Now there's a couple things we need to do to get the effect that we want. So first of all, we need to, if we want it to jump, we need to set some properties. Now keep in mind, if you're using MCEdit multiple times, some of the options will stay selected even between uses of the filters. So for instance, I selected lightning creeper. I'll probably want to switch it back to NA, not applicable, if I want to do further editing. Now of course a lightning creeper effect is not going to affect a pig, but it's just a good practice to make sure that you set your stuff back to default before you use it again. So in order to make the pig fly up when it spawns, I'm going to change the Y velocity. Y is the up and down direction. If I just go ahead and change that to 1, then it's going to be moving at 1 meter per tick, which is pretty fast actually, the second that it spawns. So I'll hit filter, and that'll apply that velocity to that pig right there. And if I just loaded the game up, the pig would just jump, but I'm going to turn it into a spawner before I do that. And I'm actually going to check this include position data thing here. And so what that does is that stores the position of the pig with the mob spawner. So when I hit filter, it's going to create a mob spawner, but any pigs that this spawner spawns are actually going to be right here when they spawn, even if I move this spawner way far away, and that's what created the teleport effect. So I'm going to select this pig spawner, and I'm going to cut and paste it over here, and I'm also going to put some grass around this. I'll just use some fill, grass, okay. And so, because you need the grass around the pig spawner. Now, interestingly, the pig is going to spawn over here where the pig was, but you need grass around the actual spawner because before the pig gets teleported over here, it actually spawns normally. Basically, the way the game does it is it spawns the pig and then applies whatever attributes you've set, like the position or the velocity, after it's already spawned it. And so when those attributes do get set, it's going to teleport it way over here, and it'll fly up. So I'll save this, and so here's that mob spawner, and I'm standing next to it. You'll notice the radius of, if I go more than 16 blocks away, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see in the video, I'm sure, but the pig stopped spinning, the flames stopped coming up. So the radius of spawning is still around this spawner, but when the mob actually does eventually spawn, it's going to spawn over there, like the original pig was, and you also saw it jumped up into the air and took some fall damage when it landed. So that's how you create the teleportation effect. When I had that proximity trap in the sky, I originally spawned the cow way up in the sky and created the spawner up there, and then moved the spawner down underground, about 14 blocks underground, so that when a player would come nearby, the cow would spawn underground and then get teleported immediately up to the platform where it would trigger the TNT. So that's how you create the velocity effect and the the teleportation effect. The jumping spiders was just a jumping boost potion effect that I added to the spiders. It's pretty simple. Now there's a lot of technicalities to this, and basically I think you're just, if you want to get into this, you're going to have to do some experimenting on your own. But there's a lot of possibilities here. I'm sure I haven't even scratched the surface of what's possible with the new mob spawners. I'm really excited about new tools like this that Mojang is adding to the game that make map makers just have so many more options available to them. That's really, really cool. So thank you to Mojang for adding features like this. I really appreciate it. So again, you can download the 3 filters from the video description. There's the one to create the mob spawners, there's one that adds potion effects, and then there's the one that adds the miscellaneous properties to the mobs, like lightning creeper velocity, health. You can make mobs that have 100 health rather than 20 to begin with, and all kinds of stuff. So this is going to be really cool for upcoming adventure maps, because map makers aren't quite so restricted. Ooh, a bunch of lag there. Map makers aren't quite so restricted in what they're going to have available to them with mob spawners. That's about it. Thanks for watching.